Damn, JD, you made this beat?
Now you never let no square ass, goof ass, bitch ass, hoe ass, weird ass nigga ever get you off your squares, man. You's a whore. Yeah, fuck him, that's just how I'm feeling today. Nigga been in the way, nigga still in the way. The bitch tried to make me a killer today. Nigga silly today, it was really the day. Tried to spin it, got spun nigga dizzy today. Shoot a bitch with a gun, you was scary. Rest in peace, D-Lo, I just like my dog and we taking that hard. Got me sick in my feelings today. Bag after 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 bag. Say he got 500 bags, kicking your shit like your ass, he ain't finding no cash. Who got that bony little bitch, nigga gassed up. Bitch got me hungry, good smoke, I can't pass her. I step by my lonely, can't front, I can't back up. Just might take his bitch with my bitch, make him lap up. I heard that you wanna die, so tell me your price, cause I got a guard. And you are not one of them guys. Boy, you's a bitch, you live on the lie. If you really was with a da-da-da lie, I cross all the T's and I da-da-da-da. I tried to show love, nigga thought I was green. His bitch like when I sing, nigga da-da-da-da. Why you don't like me? Why you just don't fight me? My name Kill, you won't have to.
This has been an interesting journey. I do have another meeting and trip to go on. And I don't know if this is a message to I do know this is a message to the companies that are increasingly inviting me to their facilities. That is flattering and everything, and they say a lot of nice things when you get in that position where someone is seeing what you do and they're like, oh, well, you could be an asset, so we'll bring you in. What you got to understand is the lease company that I'm looking for is that I'll be willing, because basically the dilemma is people are always going to ask me what company should they go to. And since I stopped talking to the Seraphan Lord of the regime and the company that shall not be named, I've been on a search for one that can be blessed with my saying, yeah, this is where I think you should go. The relationship between me and the company that shall not be named is just not a good one. So it was like, I can and no longer in good conscience tell people to go there, even though mathematically it's not a bad deal, but I'm no longer saying that company's name. So now I look at it like I'm going to tailor make the place that I'm going to tell people to go to. I've thought a few things. I've thought it should be smaller companies that don't have trucks where I could tell people, you have to get your own truck to go to this company. But then it's like, that cuts out so many people. And that would just be. Then I thought maybe I should put a limit on the truck notes of the place and look at all the places that have truck notes. I'm good with what? No, I'm good. I'm looking at shit, I lost my train of thought. Should I limit? in my mind should I say I'm not going to take a place with a truck note over this amount of money? I'm not going to take a place with an insurance over this amount of money. When they invite me to these places and we talk, they never lead with numbers. And you kind of gotta have to lead with numbers, guys. You gotta have to lead with numbers. Me being awesome is dope, but you gotta lead with numbers, bro. You got to. So I'm gonna go to this next place, and around June 10th, I think. They're expecting me or flying me out to tell me their program. I'm sorry, I'm doing too much. I really am. And some of the stuff I asked over the phone, they just weren't willing to tell me. Oh, we'll talk about it when you get here. Okay. So on your dime, man, I'll go out there. You know, but you can't come to me with $1,300 truck notes and $500 insurance and think that I'm just gonna be like, well, since you like me, you know, yeah, screw it. No, I'm not going to. I'm not gonna do it. As a few companies figured out. Your hospitality's dope, all that stuff. That does not get down to the facts of the re-education. It doesn't. This A, B, C, D is too much money. And I cannot in good conscience tell nobody to go there who is interested in leasing. I've also thought maybe I should come to the understanding that I will never find a place with the numbers that I want. So I just stopped telling people altogether. Is listen, man, I don't know where you should go. Just do your research, which is an option. I don't know where you should go. Oh, do your research. Take it out of my hands completely, but it never stops. That's one of the most asked questions. So it never stops people from asking you that question. Never. They're just going to keep asking it. So today, we're going to figure out a few things. We're going to ask the people, because it's nothing without the people. We're going to ask the people. Use mine all day. You're going to ask the people, how much should the truck note be? We're going to ask the people, how much should the insurance be? We're going to ask the people what other things they should offer. And then I'm going to compare that to the companies and say, from what y'all said, this is the best one to go to. Okay, so that's what we're doing today. And you won't give your number, that's no. Show you. To me, first thing is when they want to give you numbers that's I know or come over here and we can show you. Yeah, that's yeah. So right now we're going to discuss on this episode what is the max you should pay for, or that this community thinks they want to pay for a truck note. I do not make beats, MJ. You better fix something, Francis, because everybody else hears me. What is the max? When I was at the company that shall not be named, I was paying $984 a week. We have $1,800 a month. Wrong button. How did I mess that up? I messed that up. Let's see here. Let's go back. $1,800 a month from what's that? Murray 199. I don't know how to say her name. $1,800 a month. Troy Peach says no more than 1,000. I see you, Phil. I'll send it to you. This is giving us a chance to tailor make it. And when we agree on a number, I'm not going to agree to tell people to go to a company without this number. So you're able to participate. Hold on. Where's just Phil at? I know I had you in here, Phil. There he goes. Let me get it right. Get this Phil there. 'We're gonna talk about how unrealistic it is too. 13 to 1600 was it? 13 to 1600. I was guessing. Okay. 1,500 should be the max. I was gonna get to that, Curtis. These numbers seem unrealistic. We're gonna talk about that later. Without profile pic can comment. Right now, my truck payment total is $3,000 monthly, leasing a used truck. We are, Brandon B. It's got to be realistic. It's a fact. Instead of me just randomly picking a company that I will officially say, go there, we're going to talk about it before. I don't think no YouTuber has done that. And actually, it helps us get into a discussion of what is realistic and really what is not. What is not realistic? Nevada Trucking says 2,000 full maintenance lease. Y'all are randomly just saying what y'all are paying, which is not the point. Mine is $289 for ProStar. Yeah, we're talking about truck notes. And I know some of this stuff is what y'all would like to pay in a fantasy, but we're not trying to be in a fantasy right now. We're really trying to find the number. We're really trying to find the number. Because it's the point is, you're gonna have to. You can't just. Everybody can't just be throwing around what's a good company, what's a not good company. They can't just keep doing that. We have to come to some agreement eventually. We have to. We have to come to agreement. Have to come to an agreement eventually. And I know people don't want to. I'd pay $800 a month for an international. Y'all aren't realistic, man. And the truth is, most of y'all are above $800 a week for a truck. So everybody who's saying stuff that is remarkably low is disingenuous. It's disingenuous unless you're somewhere, with the, and if where you at, say where you're at. There is a lot, and that's why this is such a hard decision. This is why people ask the question all the time. This is why this is a discussion today. Because I'm gonna be truthful. I've had a $1,000 note before. I've had an $800 note before, and I've made money with both. That's just the flat out truth. I've made money with both. So, if you can make 4,000 or 5,000 from one load, are we splitting hairs trying to drop the payment $500? Like I said, it's all just a discussion, man. It's all just a discussion. That's it. It's all just a discussion. How many times, Hirschbox, 770 a week, Freightliner. Yeah. How many times can we come on here and let's say I got you into the position where you're at a place and you're only paying this amount of money? There's a couple other variables. Does that place have space for people to go to? Like the VL thing. Everybody talks about VL, but from what the creators that are doing the VL talk, they say there's no more room. So what's the point of talking about them? That, to me, that takes them off of the table. It has to be a place that can take people. Yeah, you're on the A side, but I don't deal with that company, Truckily. I feel like you know that. But it has to be a place that can take people. First of all, we have to agree on a number to pay for a week. We have to agree on how much we should pay for insurance. How much should a person be paying for insurance? I pay 756 trucks only. No, it's company. Oh, that's a company in Illinois. Okay, all right, that's cool. I'll look into them. What is the most we should be paying for insurance? That's the real point. The truck note irrelevant if you're making 97 cents. that is a fact, and that's something we got to discuss as well. It's irrelevant, dude. It's people who are making money with $1,100 truck notes. And there's people who are going broke with $200, $300, $400 truck notes. So this is it's a debacle. It's that it has to be discussed. New equipment and all fixed expenses, $5,000 a month. Just equipment, no more than $3,000 a month. That's a good look at it. So the number and the pay package should be linked together. There's a few people in my email in discussions with me, and I've went and seen two in their terminals. And these people are very nice, but dude, you can't get me with that. You can't get me with that. I'm sorry. It's nice here. Thanks for the brand muffin and all that, but that's how they get you. The regime. No, the numbers gotta be right, man. The numbers have to be right, dude. It just do. So let's talk about numbers today. And y'all can trust and believe. They're watching. They're watching this video. I appreciate that, Trucker Lee. It ain't off topic. Health is always the center of everything. Health as well, baby. That's a fact. And I'm keeping them going. I did my workout yesterday. I just didn't post a thing. And I may go today. I don't know. I usually try to go a day recover, but I'm working on it. $950. Maybe we should do it this way. Let's do it this way, Nathan. Let's do it in between. And this is per week. So should it be between $950 and 600 a week? Should it be between 200 and 500 a week? Give me a range, and we'll write it down, and that will be the channel's agreed upon number. Right? That will be the channel's agreed upon number. Just Phil says 800 to 1100. You got to negotiate insurance after a few years with them with a clean record. Curtis says 900 to 1200. 950 a week owning the truck is reasonable. Now we're getting down to the dirty bone of what? Because now I'm bringing y'all in the responsibility of the videos that are going to be made saying this is outrageous amount of money. It also shows the complexity of what people are asking me when they ask me a question on where you should go, how much should my truck note be? And look how many different answers we're getting. So how could I ever give an answer that is a good one if there's 57 answers? You know what I mean? Like, come on. Brandon, who is a member of my YouTube membership, says 400 to 900 weekly. To be fair, 650 to 950 is fair for a truck note. I'm reserving judgment here. I'm showing y'all how many different things can be said. Look how many different things people are saying. There goes another variable, picking your freight or mega carrier. Because, I mean, do you get 100% of surcharge? The business. Well, you know what I mean? Like, well, let's get it all out. Let's get it all out. Because half the time you go to a YouTube, you want them to tell you, but it's 70 different answers that people are going through, and people think 70 different things. We need to come up with, and we the people are about to set an industry standard of what's okay. And once it's in, okay, Phil, I'm waiting on you. Once it's in, that's going to be the thing that y'all picked. I'm going to slide it up and say, according to the channel survey, this is good, 600 to 900. Or 450 to 550. And my thing is, if you do call in, you're gonna have to give examples of who's charging $450 a week. And can they fit people to go to? Wilson says, love this. A $900 a week, $900 a week. How much profit is possible? Man, I've seen a $4,500, $6,500 profit week on $1,000 a week on $1,000 truck note. Now, what I had to do to get there, that's up to you if you're willing to do it. Some of that's training, you know, like there's other variables here. Glad you tuned in, Anthony. I thought you tuned in every time. Suspicious. I've never looked into Schneider Lease to own. Me neither. I've consistent is good freight going to be. There's no, listen, how are we going to know that, buddy Swift? How consistent is the good freight going to be? That's an X. That's an unknown. See, now y'all are seeing how hard it is to pick. You don't know. You do not know. You do not know. Insurance call come 300 a week. Truck 11. What's the point? We can do the math at whichever amount. That's true. Kurt.
What's going on, big dog?
Sir Messington is here. That's a very funny name. Sir Messington. It's so fitting.
So, like I was saying, I don't. One, I think you taking on this cause is a losing battle. Let's get that out the way because you're
It
not
is.
gonna make everybody happy. There's gonna be some people who gonna see the number that's come up with and be like, "Oh my God, no, I wouldn't pay that," and this, and that. Everybody's particular situation is different, and all that. So I think it's best to keep it in the averages as far as like
Mhm.
the industry. What is the industry average for this particular division and making a lease payment?
Right.
Because I think if you get into anything more specific than that, it's a lot of nuances that can go with that. We know you you take a lot of heat for everything, so that's
Yeah,
just something else to beat you up on. Um,
that's
and
true.
I think another thing people have to, that's one thing I always hear you, Low, and everybody else that's on here that, owns their equipment or leases or whatever their particular situation is. You have to know what your cost of operation is. You have to know whether that's going to determine whether not only can you afford it or if it's even profitable or if it even makes sense. What is your cost of operation per mile?
Right.
So like I think that's the major thing you have to know. How much is it going to cost to run this truck and if it even makes sense.
First of all, he pointed out how I'm a martyr to the game, and I always try to do better. That's what he just pointed out. I am going to get beat up for it, but it has to be done. It has to be done. See, because I think that the industry sharks thrive on there being no understanding.
Right.
That's how they can do what they do because there's so many contradictory stories. So that's the whole point. So hit my cash app for being a martyr to the game right now, like a truck. Like I'm trying to break it down because I'm going to show y'all. We're going to show y'all at the end of it.
So I have
It's impossible to
a
figure this
question.
out. Yeah.
So during your own private research on this particular topic and the various companies that you've spoken with so far, have you come up with a average? So let's say you've talked to 8 companies so far, and they throw out whatever their number is. What is the average from that number?
It's about six. It's about 6 to 900 of what most people are offering. That's around the number you're going to hear. And if you're talking, and that's because I'm staying away from mega carriers right now.
Okay.
If I was to go to mega carriers, it's definitely $800 to $1,100. But then again, like you say, they're doing so much stuff for you. How can you say that's wrong?
Right.
When,
So it's a lot of variances. Again, it's a lot of variances and nuances to this.
Yeah. If you go
Good
to
luck.
that are saying, "Hey, man, 600," you know what I mean? A lot of them deal with in company agents. You don't have a DM. They're not helping you fix the truck. The truck is not new. There's a lot of compounding things that, what can you say? So you're like, all right, well, the truck is older. So I get why it's only 600, but now you don't have a DM. They'll give you a list of agents to call.
Right.
Now you
A part of me thinks that you get off from being a modder.
I mean, what are you gonna do? Like,
because this looks like it is not going to end well.
The whole point.
I can already see the diss tracks made. I can already see the video.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I can see it all.
But I've picked. This is and my end result. This is something that shows you how complicated this question is. So when you ask somebody this question, you don't understand the position you're putting them in. So I'm about to show people the position you're putting them in, because every time someone makes a point, someone's going to say there's variables. So in other words, there's no way to make a point. So you can't just come here and say 900 is too much for a truck. It's just too much money for a truck.
Right.
Blue Alpha sent $30 to the super chat. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, buddy. It's just too much. It's 5,000 a month, right? Profit number to shoot for. You should be trying to shoot for more than that. I would tell my DM I need $7,000 a week gross. From knowing my numbers dealing with low, I really only needed 45.
But then again, you knew your cost of operation, though. You knew your
I didn't know my cost of operation. I didn't know my cost, but my thing is, at the end of the day, that ain't what we see. You trying to make sense of it, and what I'm trying to prove is there is no sense to be made. How much is too much? Because that is the buzz way people ask. TB, how much is too much for a truck note? That's it. That's all they ask. And it's
That's
like
almost like asking you what the cure to cancer is. Like,
pretty much.
what? Just lay this multivariable bomb in my lap and hey, go figure it out. Go do some algebraic equations on a chalkboard and figure it out.
And on top of you do those algebraic equations, predict the stock and political market for the next 5 years. You're like, what? You don't know what's gonna happen. Who? Someone told someone 900 is good for a truck note, and then the coronavirus happened.
Right.
It's like, what? Who knew that? You know, I was doing drive-in when that hit, and it went down to one load a week because all of the places that I was dropping, Costco and all the places was closed.
Right.
So I mean, you there's no way to know. But you have to give me a template. So when I talk to these companies, I can say I feel comfortable with telling people to go here. And it needs to be agreed upon by y'all so I don't completely be nailed to the wall.
You're going to be nailed to the wall regardless. What are you talking about?
Know that. Well, Curtis said, Phil said, I'm bringing everybody with me. Everybody going. Because we talked about it. We discussed it. And everybody agreed that ABC to ABC was a good number. Now, here goes another one. What's a good insurance number a week? I got quiet.
So that insurance number will be tacked along with the truck note, correct? Because when I was speaking,
that don't matter. I'm talking about it's on a separate line in your settlement, so it's a separate discussion. How much is too much for insurance a week? How much is too lease? What's the average? What's the number I should be saying that's good? So you one of them dudes who are always trying to use reason, and there is no reason in the fucking game, baby. There's no reason for it.
I mean, honestly, but I mean, like I said, that's not my area of expertise. So I would just be shooting in the dark, anyways. I mean, I would just be going off of what I hear from you, Lo, Just Phil, and Law from what y'all have said that y'all have been paying, and then average that and come up with that number. So.
That's a good way to look at it, but it ain't messy enough. It ain't messy enough. The insurance is a MF. Yes, insurance is MF. I've left a place where I was paying $550 a week. $550 a week. I've been at a place where I've paid $100 a week.
So it sounds like we in the wrong industry. It sounds like we need to be insurance because it seems like they making money hand over fist.
That's true. Frank says $135 a week average
for insurance.
For insurance, I remember my insurance was $100, and I never ever paid attention to that line. I never paid attention to that line because it never was enough money for me to care. That changed.
So with the insurance, is that price that's quoted or given to you, is that based on the company or your own individual driving record?
If you're
just spit out a number at you?
If you're independent, it's based on you. But if you're with a regime company, it's just there. You're not involved in what that's gonna be. Because it's that carrier as a collective. It's not nothing to do with you if you're at a company with 3,000 trucks.
Right. So I've heard y'all throw around this term self-insured quite a few times. What does that mean exactly?
That's people that's so rich that they really don't need insurance, and they have some way they finagle the insurance, and they put enough up in escrow or whatever to where they're not really dealing with Progressive per se. But that's mega carrier language that we shouldn't even be talking about. Like that's something on a completely different atmosphere of us. Most people don't have $980 million in escrow to even be
Right.
So it's one of those things. Hold on real quick. It's one of those people are chopping at the bit to get in. One second. Phil, you good? You ready?
Yeah, man. We in here live and direct.
I know I've taken on a huge chunk and a dangerous place to be, but it has to be talked about if I'm going to agree to back a company and say everybody who asks me, I tell them to go here. So we have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, average payment, which it's been a million things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, what do you choose? I know what I've seen is around 600 to 900 is around a good average. The lower it goes, the more responsibility you have to take care of. The older the truck is,
right.
You know, a lot of stuff comes with it. So, what's your thoughts?
Well, I can speak from my own personal experience with the company I'm with now, which for a while I wasn't going to put it out there because I just don't want to deal with the flack that comes with that. But for the sake of I guess giving people a realistic perspective of the conversation, I'm going to share some of the information. I actually have a lease with Roadrunner Transport, which some of you may have heard of that. Yeah, they have their caveats, but you can still turn a profit at this company. Like, for example, with my truck, I have a 2018 Pro Star. Being that it is a used truck, basically I inherited someone else's lease. My payments, aside from insurance, are about $681 a week, which equates to about $28.95 a month. But including insurance, my weekly payments are about $850. If we're factoring in things like my ELD cost, my escrow, and my trailer rental costs, all that together is about a weekly overhead of about roughly $1,300, 1320, something in that ball range.
I've seen people with truck notes that are legit 1,200 by itself.
Right. But the main reason being that I picked this truck over going with a new one, because they do offer new trucks as well, was one, for lowering the overhead, and two, for the fact that being that this is an inherited lease, my lease term is shorter than what the standard would be.
So what do they do that the over regime don't?
Well, being for one, this is a smaller carrier. I'm not going to disclose how large they are, but they're smaller than what your typical mega carrier would be.
So
That being said,
I get a tire plan at the company that shall not be named. I got a fancy building to go to, massage parlor. Like what am I not getting for this lower number?
Well, I would say the difference being between the league and this company in particular is they do have some facilities not as fancy as the league, but they do have a tire account. They have fuel discounts with TA and Petro and Loves. They don't use Flying J.
That's amazing.
They have, as far as the equipment goes, they cover all the expenses related to the trailer, whether it be tires or maintenance, things of that nature. Everything with the trailer is included in your weekly rental. You don't, basically, the way they have it is because all their trailers
is a trailer new or is it used?
they're all lease trailers. Basically it's an LTO carrier, so you're doing drop and hook, but I guess their way of covering the overhead of leasing the trailers, because they don't actually own them directly. The way of them covering the overhead is you pay a weekly fee, and basically you're within their pool network of all the trailers that they swap out, which is the drop and hook situation.
Okay. So if my truck breaks down, the league sends somebody out and gets my truck. So am I going to get that with them?
No, that's the thing about it. This carrier is not a hold your hand carrier, which is why I don't recommend you come over here with less than 2 years of experience, because outside of anything catastrophic or anything to do with warranty, you're on your own.
So do we need to split the suggestion between hold your hand and non-hold your hand?
Yes, that would be a better
Yeah.
distinction. What carriers are going to hold your hand, what carriers aren't. There's caveats and benefits on both ends. For me, the benefit is lower overhead and I'm able to still turn a profit. Being that this is LTL, yeah, the rates are a bit lower than what would be considered standard in the market, but there's still plenty of room to turn a profit.
Yeah,
Mm.
I definitely agree with that.
Like, for
So
example, this week, which was a low week because I came home after my overhead, I still managed to net $2,500, averaging closer to $3,000 if you bust in your tail. But this again, this is not a hold your hand carry. You got to run if you're going to come over here.
and if something goes wrong with the truck, 60% of it you're gonna have to figure it out. If you really can't, then you can ask.
Well, the way it works is pretty much when it comes to maintaining the truck, they do have a standard that you have to maintain as far as regularly putting the truck in the shop, meaning PMs, getting quarterly inspections, things of that nature. But when it comes to things and breakdowns, unless it's within that warranty period, which every truck has a different warranty length, unless it's within that warranty length, you are responsible for maintaining and repairing that truck.
So when you get a PM service done, are you doing that like at an outside place, or are you taking it to like one of their terminals or something?
They
No, you basically they have a discount program where you can go to TA and get your service done, but you're open to take it wherever you like. If you have a preferred mechanic, or if you prefer Speedco, or whatever the case you want to do,
Okay.
that's up to you.
do they
But
have, because the
Mhm.
league has the shop at the terminal. So do they have a terminal shop?
only a few of the basically only the hub locations have shops.
See, that's what I'm saying. When y'all keep saying these lower numbers,
Yeah.
there's experience you got to have for that to make
Exactly.
sense.
Exactly.
Hold on. Law. Oh, I don't know what's going on with him. He's probably switching to his home setup. You're where I take home more often when you stop dealing with hold your hand leases. So all right. So now you're telling me there's more companies I got to talk to. I'm eventually going to have to pick a hold your hand place and a non-hold your hand place.
Right.
And then the level above that I'm going to go to is people who have carrier packets, because I am dealing with those people too. But there's a lot of questions that have to be answered on that, and that's definitely going to be Patreon only, as this is going to turn to Patreon only, because he gave you an outline, but we're really going to dig, and I mean really dig. First of all, we're going to figure out some of the nuances that don't need to be talked about. Some of these nuances don't need to be talked about. Like, you good? All right. I'm just gonna leave you in. You let me know when you're good or when you get home or whatever. Some of these nuances don't need to be talked about. Like, I don't want to waste time on certain things. Like, this place has a massage parlor. That ain't we're not gonna really get into that. What we're getting into is you're gonna have to explain your freaking experience. We need to come up with a process of you asking the question. So if you come up to me and ask the question, or you're in the Patreon, you ask the question, first thing we need to know is what your experience is. Because I can't tell you where to go. If I tell you as a sweet butt rookie to go where Phil's at, you're gonna fall on your face ASAP.
Exactly.
I think that would make the conversation easier. Still difficult, but a little bit easier.
It gives you a better sense of direction.
Because you have context when somebody asks you a question like, "Hey, my name is such and such. I'm asking such and such, and here's a brief description of kind of what I'm bringing to the table."
Exactly. When you just come to me, just be like, "What's a good in the truck note?" And it's like, okay, yeah, Phil's running around here $1,300 a week, daddy for everything. But Phil got to figure, if Phil's trucks break down, he got to figure out how to get it to the TA, and you ain't ready for that.
Exactly.
So Phil's making a decision like, should I limp? Should I this? Should I that? Should I put on the 4 ways and ride the shoulder all the way there?
Should I pay $600 for the truck to come out?
Exactly. Pay $60 is going to be way more than $600, but depending on where you're at,
show up.
Show up, but to get you where you could. Because let's put this into context. I paid $980 for 8 miles.
Sheesh.
God.
And that was in Florida.
I'm in the wrong business.
Oh my God. One time I paid $450 for them to pull. My starter went out. He literally pulled it 16 feet. and I started.
$450 for a clutch kick.
That
Jesus
was $400
Christ!
bucks. So it's like if I was with the Seraphan Lords, they would have just took care of the whole thing.
Right.
And they would have just, if either they would have took it out, or if they would have see, when you're with the hand holders, they're making a decision: is this is something that you're going to cover, or is it something that they're going to cover?
Right.
So
And
they'll
the thing about my carrier too, as far as if you're in that kind of situation, if you can't cover the overhead, you have to basically negotiate with the carrier as to what percentage of it can be split up over your invoices.
right.
If they're even willing to do it, the price has to be in the right range for them to be like, okay, we'll break this down over X amount of settlements. You'll sign this contract that you'll finish out these loads and run for X amount of time to cover this overhead cost.
And the
On
number
top
they
of
like
everything.
3. They want it paid back in 3 to 6 cycles.
Exactly.
See, I think for the people who have, let's say, around 2 years experience, this is just my opinion.
Mhm.
This does not reflect the opinion of new regime ENT, but my my opinion is that like somebody who has like 2 years experience should probably go with a company that is like more on the hand holding side. And if
Exactly.
you have, let's say 4 or 5 years experience or 3 or more, you've been in the game for a while, you done went through some mountains, some winters and all of that, then
Right.
you should feel more comfortable with going with a company that doesn't necessarily cover everything, that you take on more to yourself.
Hold on, we're gonna actually name company names here in a minute, but let's go behind the wall, because those statements are a little
It's getting thick.
yeah. We're gonna go behind the wall. We're gonna talk about what company to stay away from.
Mhm.
We're gonna talk about what's a good hand holding company and what's a non hand holding company, and we're gonna name names. It gets real murky talking about this, because people, when they move, the reason why I take it so seriously, when people move from a company to another, they're moving the way they feed their kid and take care of their business over there. So that's why I don't take it lightly like a lot of channels do.
And even more to the point, you got to understand when you're in this realm of the industry, you got to understand you can fail. It don't matter where you go. This is a business risk. You can fail. You have to understand that. No matter what you go, if it's handhold or not, you have to understand when you're dealing with these folks and you're in these contracts, this is room for failure every single time.
Oh yeah, you
And
failing.
that's the thing; they have to be okay with that, because once you take the pennies off that joint, you in there.
That's it.
So
And these people care nothing about what's going to happen to you. It's not their business to, first of all, you're at a non-hand holding company when you can be driving in a day and a half. That means there's no orientation. There's no training.
Yeah, 3 days I'm out the door.
You should know what you're doing. You should know what you're doing. Why am I telling you how to drive through Oregon? You should know this.
Exactly.
They're not going to explain to you how. They're not going to do any of that. Twitch is out of here. Let me drop the link is there. I'll give people a second to sign up. Y'all, I'm gonna pull y'all back in a minute. I'm gonna give y'all a second to sign up and be a part of this conversation that will be left up and recorded for everybody who is hold on one second. What is this? Wrong button, y'all. Wrong button. Initially, I got to do better. So I'm giving y'all 3 minutes before we start this discussion. Phil, make sure you keep a head on it so I don't forget while I'm jamming to the music. Get back there and don't know what we're talking about. I appreciate you, Phil. This is your time. I've dropped the link. Sign up for the Patreon right there to have this conversation. understand new rule. The jumping in and out of the Patreon will get you blocked. Now, I've noticed people doing that. Brent Adams says, what is the numbers for success? See, there you go. There goes a flat question. There goes a flat question. Come on now. It's your chance to sign up right now. I'll give you a second. Figure it out. Kill VCR.
Yeah, fuck them, that's just how I'm feeling today. Nigga been in the way, nigga still in the way. The bitch tried to make me a killer today. Nigga silly today, it was really the day. Tried to spin and got spun, nigga dizzy today. You a bitch with a gun, you was scary. Rest in peace, D-Lo, I just like my dog and we taking that hard. Got me sick in my feelings today. Bag after 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 bag. Say he got 500 bags, kicking your shit like your ass, he ain't finding no cash. Who got that bony little bitch, nigga gassed up. Bitch got me hungry, good smoke, I can't pass her. I step by my lonely, can't front, I can't back up. Just might take his bitch with my bitch, make him laugh up.
I'm trying to teach you the game up.
You wanna die, so tell me your price, cause I got a God. And you are not one of them guys. Boy, you's a bitch, you live on the lie. If you really was with a that lie, I cross all the T's.
Nevada, you're blocked because you can't knock a hustle and say you're not knocking the hustle. You're out of here, buddy.
You don't like me. Why you just don't fight me? My name Kill. You gon' have to die. You say you rob your dog or you slime. You won't play, I got time and you trying. That little bitch hate the way I be smiling.
You gotta look at the comments. Everything's in the comments. I dropped the link. We're down to 2 minutes before we move over. I've dropped a link for you to sign up. Some of the stuff we're going to say is going to be seriously controversial. We're going to say what companies not to go to. We're going to say what companies you should go to. And we're going to talk about, and people will be able to say why or who and what. And you're going to hear from people who have experience in this. So, yeah, it's going to be controversial because we're going to be talking about certain companies, and it is going to be behind the paywall. I'm sorry. It's a fact, though. You understand? Why is it behind the paywall? Well, listen, man, some stuff, I'm not trying to have all the videos saying, oh, man, he shouldn't have said this, he shouldn't have said that. And that's what the people behind the paywall paid for. Exclusivity.
I do different world and my bitch is like Whitley.
Man, I just coming for next like a hickey. Head on the swivel, cause niggas is shifty. She mama bad and she been about her business. I'm sorry, baby, I gotta be picky.
I'm sorry, little baby, I gotta be choosing, cause I'm really winning about shit I'm pursuing. So I just came home and you niggas look stupid. Might pull up with keys in the Wraith, not the Buick. Color with Sean, you tell me the door. We came with your bitch and we about to run through.
Yeah, and I pull up a Euro. Nigga might paint the whole block like a mural. I be outside everywhere cause I'm thorough. Call on my dog, you gon' spin in the tour. Break out the I got custom apparel.
Am I the only one that made a bag off crypto last night when I was asleep? Shh. Yeah, I may be the only one that made $2,000 while I was sleeping last night on crypto.
Hero, we really up on them boys 10 to 0. We really fucking your bitch on the deal. Kill got some diamonds, they singing like Neo. And I'm rapping, yeah, we out on my street, get some push out of bed.
Should I talk about it? Should I talk about that? Making money on crypto? Nah, I ain't gonna talk about that.
They ain't no good for fuck, I'm a winner. I bring the blade to your chinny to chin. Strap already in, so I need all the yen. You ain't no Timmy was spinning the bin.
She give me nothing like a never for fun. I just say, man, I don't got no new friends. Shit.
If you ain't make no money off crypto last night, I'm sorry. You didn't make no money off crypto last night, did you? Phil was bullshit. He ain't make no money off crypto. Law was bullshit. He ain't make no money off crypto. Why is that? I'm just going to say crypto. I ain't going to tell y'all, well, maybe I'll talk about it behind the wall. Hey. I'm sorry. I'm trying to put y'all up on it. I'll tell you what, I made $2,000 off of that. By putting pennies of the dollar in. Buy all the people that's not behind the wall. Don't do drugs. I know you're offended. You'll get